So, that is all from my side. And now I'd like to introduce you my another team member, Labib.
Uh, Hello everyone. My name is Laviv, and I'm also currently studying in electronics and communication engineering discipline, Khulna University, along with Jawad. And as Jawad was saying, we have been developing this product for a long time, and due to our, let's say, some personal experiences and what we have seen around us, we are actually really motivated to to find a technological based solution for this problem, to make everything transparent and fair for everyone else. And I am really excited to share our little, let's say, in innovation with you all. Thank you everyone for being here.
Hi, hi to everyone. I'm Share Mahmoud. I'm also a student of Khulna University, filmmaking discipline, and we are teamed to work in this solution. We believe it does. We believe that our solution uh, give a better situation for our country or our society. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. And if one of you would like to start sharing your screen, please, for the presentation.
Okay, I am sharing the screen. Let me know if you all can see it. Yes, can you see my screen?
It says that you've started sharing your screen, but we're not quite seeing anything yet.
Just give me a minute. Yes, are you seeing anything now?
I think you should click on the entire screen.
Oops.
Yes, we can see your presentation perfectly now.
Just I think it's not still proper yet. Just let me fix something. We just need 1 minute. I think something is wrong here. It's not showing the whole thing. So half of screen is represented, like is being presented. So we're fixing it. Just 1 minute, please.
Okay, so I am sharing the slide. Okay. Okay, so hello. So can you guys see it?
Yes.
Okay. So all right. So is it totally visible?
Yes. It
Okay.
looks good.
Okay, so thank you very much. So, is it the time that I should start my presentation, or are you guys going to wait for other judges and everything?
You can go ahead and begin now. I'll start
Okay.
the timer, and then I'll let you know when you have 2 minutes remaining.
Okay, so 2 minutes remaining. Okay, so Janina, would you please just say something like, okay, let's go, or go ahead, please, just so that I can start.
Okay, go ahead.
So hello everyone, we are Team Stormtroopers, and today we are presenting our idea to you. So the utopian scenery that you're seeing in front of you is the Lusail Stadium of Qatar. So this stadium was the epicenter of FIFA World Cup 2022. This stadium hosted the entire celebration and all the festivities. However, apart from all the festivities and celebration, there is a hidden darkness. The darkness is 6,500 workers died since Qatar was awarded to the host the World Cup. To put things into perspective, let's zoom out a little bit. We are in Bangladesh, a little country in the southwestern region of Asia. Each year, from our country, almost 1 million migrant workers go to the Middle Eastern region, like the countries Saudi Arabia, UAE, Jordan, and Qatar, to work. These migrant workers send back 21 billion US dollars back to our country as remittance. And this constitutes about 4.56% GDP in our country. However, these migrant workers faces some really crucial problems. They face unpaid overtime, wage cut, and even the employers hoard their passports to make them work more. They work in inhuman working conditions, like in high temperature, and they lack safety gear and inadequate food. All of these issues result in their death, inhuman habitat, and even life-threatening diseases. For women, the harrows are even despicable. They face sexual abuse, they face pay disparity than their male counterpart, and then they are forced into prostitution. Around 700 female workers died in the last 6 years.
And I would like to introduce our I would like to introduce Monira, one of our accountants who faced the similar situation. He lent 120,000 taka and used this expense to land a job in Saudi Arabia, and she received her contract on her flight day and stayed with other for 3 days before unpaid work for 3 months. Later, she got 17,000 taka but no pay for the 2 months. She ran away and found a better paying job at 900 Saudi riyal, but she caught and indicted by the authorities. Detained for 21 days, when she's seeking help at Bangladeshi embassy, he turned her away and she received 20,000 taka from home and for release and managed a plane ticket for her home. And now she's struggling with loans and she considering migrant again.
So now I would like to introduce you to Mr. Malik Mia. So from our country, when a potential migrant workers want to go abroad for work, he has to face several obstacles. First, he has to face the middleman to get the government license. And then for other certifications, he has to face some other middleman. And then finally, he gets the visa. And when he reaches to the destination country has to attest and verify all of his documents. And then when finally he gets to recruited for his or her role, the employer have to contact a recruitment agency, and the recruitment agency have to contact the migrant worker through another middleman through whom the migrant worker gets recruited. So all of these issues combined, our migrant workers have to pay 4 times more migration costs than the neighboring countries of our region. And 70% of the migrant workers have to pay multiple middlemen. And after all of this, 16% of the migrant workers do not have any work permit or visa. And then 95% of the employers are not verified, resulting in inhuman work condition. And all of these issues, when they go to abroad, the Bangladeshi migrant workers are paid the lowest. And then 44,000 migrant workers died in the past 12 years. All of these issues roots are deeply rooted in the lack of regulation and transparency and rampant corruption. So today we are here to bring a solution to end all of these atrocities.
Hello everyone. We are Team Stormtroopers. We are proudly presenting our solution. Probashi, a one-step solution for the recruitment process of migrant workers from Bangladesh. Okay. So what is Probashi? So Probashi is a blockchain-enabled solution to which will bring transparency for regulatory organizations and build fairness among the workers and employers. So how does actually Probashi work? So Probashi works. So let's say a potential migrant opens an account through the Probashi app using their contract number, NID card number, and a photograph. Now, after creating the account, the user or the migrant worker has to upload the necessary documents needed for the migration process itself. Now, okay, so along with the national identity card, the user will have to upload a background clearance certificate, which can be obtained from the local government or the police. Now, if the user already has all the necessary documents required for the migration and the job, he can actually start processing and applying for the jobs. Or if he does not, or if or she does not have all the documents, they can start processing the documents through our app, the Probashi. Okay. Now, so what happens first? So firstly, the user uploads all the documents through our Probashi. Then Probashi sends a request, a token using the NID card and the background clearance certificate of the user to the BMET. BMET is the Bureau of Manpower and Employment Government Training of Bangladesh. And Bureau checks all the results and send back the receipt token. After this, the user will have to the user will have to upload other certificates related to education and work experiences. Then once all the documents are uploaded, the user can actually perform a verification of the, let's say, how far he or she has done in the process. For an overseas employer, so if he wants some worker, let's say employment from Bangladesh, what he can do is he can create an account here and apply for verification. So for the verification process, again, he has to apply to the BMET, and BMET will process that application through the destination embassy, and that destination embassy will send another token to our blockchain, which actually proves the verification. Okay, so once verified, the employers or the recruitment agencies can start actually placing the job opportunities into our app. Okay, now if an migrant worker, likes and work, can choose and apply for the jobs, can also compare wages and see, reviews of other workers from the job. So see, this is a progress tracker. In the progress tracker, the immigrant worker can actually see, okay, what are the steps I have still completed and what is still required by the government. And this process will not stop until the worker gets their employment agreement and a work visa. So how blockchain enables all the features of the Probashi app? So as you can see, all the stakeholders share the information on the chain, and the information in terms of the blocks are getting inside the blockchain. Okay, now, so actually we aim to develop the system with a Hyperledger fabric designed by the Linux Foundation, and we also under the national blockchain strategy of the government of Bangladesh, we also will be working with them, and as you can see, these are our SDG goals. We are targeting SDG goals of 5, 8, 10, and 16, and from our timeline, as you can see, we aim to collaborate with ICT division of Bangladesh government, the BIG and the A2I to get further funding for our research and implementation. Okay, so as you all have seen, Probashi brings the transparency of blockchain technology to solve the problem of access for migrating workers from Bangladesh. This was Team Stormtroopers from Khulna University, and we all thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Team Stormtroopers, so much. That was a wonderful presentation. This begins our 15 minutes of questions from the judges. So judges, if you have a question, please raise your hand using the feature on Zoom. Pamela, I see your hand is up.
Yeah, thank you very much, Team Stormtrooper. you're touching on a problem that is so broad in many ways, whether it is migrants are crossing using brokers to get to Europe through the Mediterranean, whether it is Kenyans going to UAE and dying there. I think you have presented a very structured recruitment process using the apps. My only concern is that that may not solve the problem, because the problem is not so much how they are recruited. And if that is the problem, yes, you can address it with the approach you have shared. But the problem is more at the employer side. And you're talking about Bangladeshi experiences. I come from Kenya, where every now and then we receive our own national, either as corpses or as defamed, or rather deformed, or injured beyond what you can imagine someone can do to a human being. So the problem is more with the UAE policies, the governance structures on how they allow, how they bring in migrants and how they look after the migrants, because all that you've said happens to all these migrants from different countries. Yeah, using Bangladesh as an example, but I still think that the solution you're proposing would not tame the behavior, the culture of the UAE in the way they see other human beings, treat other human beings, because it's horrendous. If you hear many other stories, I believe you're not talking about all of them here, but we see them in my country. We've taken it up with the government. Government has had to go and meet with the, some of those in Saudi Arabia or Dubai, wherever the people are, because the things that they do, whether you recruit them properly, when they land the other side, the passport is confiscated, the pay will be either not what was expected or may not even come at all, and they are mistreated. I mean, things that have happened that I cannot even talk about here. So I don't think the apps would be able to solve that. I don't know if you can share with us how the apps would be able to address the side of the employer, not the side of the recruitment. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pamela, for your question. So first, I would like to start answering your question with the fact that this is why we have brought blockchain into our solution. First of all, it will ensure transparency. Yes, what you have said that yes, once they get landed in the destination country, the passport get confiscated and they face some horrendous situation. But we can get all of these problems out of the equation once we can ensure the transparency. So how can we ensure the transparency? As it is a blockchain, it cannot be tampered with. No one can change once something is written inside the blockchain. So let's say, let's for sake of an example, let's say that today I go to UAE and my passport gets confiscated and I am seeing some horrendous or horrible situation. So what I would do? Today, if I go there, I would just I'll seek help from the government or everything, and nothing will happen. But if the app is in motion, if the app gets into reality, then what I would do, I would report this issue into the blockchain. And as we have said earlier in our presentation, that our government is also a stakeholder in our app. So when my complaint gets inside the blockchain, and my government will also get notified. So in this way, I can properly complain against the employer, and my government can take steps against this. And there is one more thing that I'd like to add, that our app included one more thing that we mentioned in our presentation, that the employers would be verified according to their ratings. That if the employer is okay, if the employer had good workplace ratings, and according to that, the workers will go there, and then the workers will go there to work for them. So in this way, we can mitigate. I'm not saying that we are going to solve all the problems, but this way, our app can significantly reduce the horrendous situations that you have mentioned in practice or in reality.
And one last question. would you not consider, now that you mentioned the government, that the government is part of this plan, why would you not work with the government to create a conducive, enabling environment for its citizens through job creation, through making sure that no one is leaving the country for somewhere unless there's a proper reason for that? Thank you.
Okay, so thank you for your question. To answer your question, I have to say that if we want to go through the way that you have just suggested, that is a huge and very lengthy process. Our country is facing, like currently right now, our country is facing a lack of reserve, a lack of foreign reserve, and the economic condition. This is the currently that is not the ideal economic condition for creating new jobs and creating new opportunities. So, and our government have been trying really hard for the past 10 to 15 years to make the situation really good, but the situation have not been better since like it was around 10 or 15 years ago. So that is why we thought in our mind, we thought in this way that we have to find something new. We have to work out something new and make some really good implementation and make out some really good solution so that that problem can be solved just like that. So from our side, we wanted to take this step because blockchain is a new technology and it can ensure all the technological aspects to ensure the security and information required for the migrant workers. So for that reason, in order to avoid the lengthy process which may or may not be able to solve, we might can solve. So that is why we have taken this route. I hope that answers your question, Pamela.
And have you involved the users, the potential users, particularly those who are already in those places, who have gone through the experience? Because someone who has not gone there, has not taken the journey, may not know what to expect. How have you involved the potential users and what do they think? Do they think this will solve the problems of mistreatment, of poor pay, and all those sorts of abuse? Thank you.
Yes, I really thank you for the question. So, like, we have talked with around 10 to 15 people who have gone to these countries and worked for like various jobs, and we found a, let's say, a very consistent pattern there. What we found that like most of these migrant workers did not have proper papers. So what happened is actually these employers from the overseas countries, they use this loophole. Okay, these workers do not have proper papers, they do not have any rights here. So actually those countries which actually have proper rights to protect the workers and the laborers, those rights actually are not properly used, cannot be used by those countries due to the lack of proper papers. So these employers are actually using these loophole, due to the rampant corruption, they are using these loophole. So we're actually closing this loophole with blockchain, because blockchain has like proper transparency. You cannot hide anything. So both of the governments, even the employers and the workers, all of these four stakeholders, all of them knows everything. Okay, so they know what is happening where, which are the papers, like who, which these papers are generated by who signed this on, like who is accepted by this, who is the company. So everything is under the blockchain. So everyone knows everyone. So that's why that loophole will not exist anymore through our process.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Andrea, I see your hand is up.
Thank you so much, Team Stormtroopers, for your presentation. It was very educational and very well thought out. And I'm with Pamela as far as the degree of this problem. It is so deep, and that you took on this challenge is commendable to think through this. So thank you very much. So my question for you all is more on accessibility. I know you showed it, it's on a phone, the app for the worker to use. If somebody didn't have a phone or the technology, is there other ways to go through kind of this blockchain process so you don't lose track of that worker who may not have, the resources for the technology?
Yes, Thank you very much for the question. So as far as the question of accessibility goes, we thought that this app is a very lightweight app, and the idea of blockchain is not actually, let's say, on the front of the app. So the the idea and the mechanism of the blockchain is going on in the back end, but the front end it's a pretty simple app. You just have to add some documents, set some requests, and also we have also worked with some like non-governmental organizations in our country who have said that if we can properly develop this app, they can like use some, let's say, experiments and uh, some, let's say, associative works to to bring the awareness among the workers to how to use this app, how use this app can help them, and like everything else.
I would like to add some more things here. Andrea, you have said that you have pointed out the accessibility issue. So I would like to tell you that almost 80 to 85% people in our country aged between 18 to 57, they have access to smartphone. And in most of the cases, so this is actually our statistics from our National Statistics Bureau. So, and to put things into perspective, the migrant workers who go from our country to the destination country, they generally have, I'm not saying not everyone, but they generally have access to a smartphone. So because they have to take photos, they have to send emails, and they have to process all the documents. So everything can be done in their smartphone. And yes, for the people who do not have access to smartphone, yes, there are still people in our country who do not have access to smartphone. For them, we actually thought about it thoroughly. For them, in our country, we have government built centers like in our presentation we have mentioned BMET, that is the National Manpower and Employment Bureau. So BMET has its offices across all over our country. So what we have in our plan that if let's say that I don't have a smartphone, let's say, like, for sake of an example, I don't have a smartphone. So what I can do if I want to go abroad, I can like simply go to the BMET office in my district, the closest one I get, and I can input all of my data in their office. And as it is a government backed, I have saying earlier that it is a government is also a stakeholder. So as it is a government backed app, or let's say an government backed initiative that we want to propose, any migrant worker can input all of their documents and information in those offices, and all of their documentation and verification can be done accordingly in that office. So for the sake of going to abroad, they literally do not need any mobile phone in their hand, practically. Like if we can make it into the reality, so they do not actually have to need any mobile phone in their hand. Our government offices, we are going to partner with them, and they are well off with them. I hope that answers your question, Andrea.
No, thank you. Thank you. That it does. I appreciate that. Thank you all.
Yes, Fatima, your question, please.
Hi. Thank you so much for this presentation. Being in the UAE, I understand where this is coming from. Just want to understand what partnership you will have. And I know that because of a majority of the countries you mentioned is within the GCC, what partnership you have between, or the plan to have a partnership as well with the GCC governments in terms of really protecting the right of these workers. Is this application will be as well linked with the GCC government through, you're talking about dealing with the government, so that could be through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, through the embassy, as well to link it with the GCC governments in order to have the statistic of the employees working in the GCC and protect their rights in terms of, in terms of health, payment, and any minimum survival needs and human rights. Is there as well a connection that will protect this? Thank you.
Yes, so our whole plan is to build a framework where everyone can contact and communicate with everyone properly. So as you may know, the GCC governments already has a plan to protect the labor rights of the migrant workers, but they are really hard to implement, in the sense that the overseas employers are usually exploiting the lack of papers and lack of everything, lack of proper, let's say, officialness of the migrant workers in a way to exploit those workers. So like what we are taking here is like an environment where the migrants can go to the overseas countries and the employers can hire them. Also, if the migrants feel that they are being mistreated here, so they can also launch complaints through their home embassy, and from that home embassy the complaints can go to the foreign ministries and to our ministries also. And as a result, like everything here is like fully connected with everyone, so everyone knows what is going on. So yeah.
And I would like to add some more things here. There is a saying that is called the devil is in the details. So what actually happens that in the GCC countries, all of the GCC countries have very good laws for protecting migrant workers and everything, but there are loopholes that actually the employers exploits the loopholes. As I was saying that as Pamela was saying earlier, that their passports get confiscated, and they face wage cut. They are not paid properly. So what actually happens here is that all the laws are here, but the implementation is really hard. Implementation is really hard to materialize. So what our idea steps into the scene for the implementation and reporting purpose for the GCC countries. And Fatima, as you were mentioning the GCC countries, and yes, it would be an international collaboration, and governments and several other stakeholders would have to be convinced here. So here I would like to say that under our initiative or under our solution, we are going to partner with our own government, banks, GCC country governments as well. And when all of these stakeholders are going to come under one umbrella, we can solve this problem and finally make the beautiful laws that is made all around the world. We can make them into reality. I hope that answers the question, Fatima.
Yeah. Just from my understanding, this solution, in terms of really cutting the middleman who really robs these workers in terms of getting the contract and working in the GCC or any other location, but still does not protect their rights in the countries. So it's just a mean to allow them to be able to find a work overseas without having to pay the exorbitant amount they pay to the middleman. But coming into the countries, wherever these countries would be, they're still going to be robbed of their rights, of their payment. So how, I think that's where you started with your presentation, talking about what happens to these people. You mentioned rape, you mentioned not payment, you mentioned confiscation of passport, which is illegal by any means in all these countries. How you would be able to stop that or reduce it? I would really want to see how that could go really to making a difference, rather than getting them from one difficult situation into another difficult situation. So the most important is really to protect their rights. How can you do that?
So actually, this is done in two ways. So in the first one is, like we are providing them with proper papers. So, they are not being exploited overseas for the lack of papers. So one is that. And the second one is that, they have a proper channel to complain about their difficulties to the destination government and also the home government. And three is, like since our process here, the employers are also vetted, so let's say an employer in UAE has to be verified by their foreign ministry, their embassy, and also our government to even come to the, let's say, our ecosystem. So they are properly vetted about their, let's say, like human safety records and environments and everything. So they are properly vetted. So this vetting process with the with the opening to complain about the insecurities and everything else, actually these 3 or 4 features actually taking care of all the problems the workers are facing, yeah.
And we are giving voice to the voiceless. So, currently, like when a migrant worker goes to UAE or any other GCC country, like if their passport is confiscated, they're an illegal migrant over there. So the police do not look very friendly. The police do not behave very friendly with illegal migrant or illegal immigrants. So what we are going to ensure that as the entire process from the very first day of their applying for a GCC country for a job to the very last day landing on their job and getting their first day at work, this entire process would be transparent and well documented with proper legal backup. In the context of legal backup, I mean all the paperworks are done and verified by all the stakeholders like my government, GCC government, bank, and the immigration facilities and everything. So in this way, this is our holistic approach to solve the concern that Fatima has raised. So I
Okay.
hope that answers your question.
Thank you so much. I have just one last question. I mean, even if they confiscate, just talking about you confiscate their passport, they will have their employment card. But are you using this application as well to mention the companies that breaches these labor right, to mention as I might say as a blacklist companies? So if any of the laborers goes into the phone and want to apply for the job and get a contract in ABC company, they know immediately this ABC company is in the blacklist, which means they can decline to accept an offer from that company and then look at so yes, giving the voice to the voiceless, but ensuring that you have measures to give that information to the future employers not to select those companies. Would that be something that you will be able to provide, plus education in terms of you don't give your passport, you don't have your passport, you have to have this document, that document, all the regulation on country basis where they will apply for a job to know their rights as well and be educated on what they have to do, and even they see something, say something. So that's what I want to know, whether the application will be able to include that. Thank you.
Yes,
And before you answer, let me just add to
yes, sure.
Fatma's point, and I think this is what I was also struggling with, that unless the government that is investing in this or going into partnership with you on this decides to ban all those rogue brokers who are the ones who normally break the law, and unless there's a strong advocacy to citizens that anyone who goes through a different means or outside the system that you'll have set up is on their own, and therefore they're taking the risk by not going through the channel, and then can work with the employers on the other side by saying that we'll only recognize the people who have come through the right channel and be able to protect them, and they can be held accountable for that. Because when someone goes out somewhere and is desperate, they are open to abuse, and they also don't want to shout because they know they didn't follow the rule. So I think there has to be some mechanism to make sure that there are no rogue brokers. There's only one or two recognized government channels to let people go, leave the country, but also the government being responsible to repatriate them back should something happen like a death or whatever. Thank you.
So thank you very much, Pamela. So I would like to start with Fatima's question. We have a rating system that we have mentioned in our presentation, that we have a rating system. So if an employer, let's say in a GCC country, that company exploits workers or violates the humanitarian laws, if they violate this, they get a negative rating. So once they get a negative rating, two things will happen. First of all, they will get reported by their own country, their host country. And secondly, as they're getting negative reports, no other worker will not gonna apply to work for them. So in this way, they are getting into a twofold trouble, like from their own host country and facing legal charges. And secondly, their work will not get done because there is not enough worker to work for them. So that is my take on Fatima's question, and Pamela have made a suggestion that if we can eradicate all the rogue brokers and make them pay for their wrong deeds and their crime. Well, Pamela, the thing is, in our country, the law and justice works, but it works in a not so very fast way. So to put things into your perspective, that when a case is charged against a broker, like they have really strong background, they have really strong backups from some really influential and powerful people. If I give you an example, in 2023, a Bangladesh Minister of Parliament was indicted in Oman for human trafficking. And this is an astounding event that one can imagine, that a member of parliament is involved in human trafficking, and he was indicted in a foreign country. So in our country, the brokers, they have some really influential backups in terms of financial backups and in terms of legal backups, and even they can push muscle power to overpower the people, against the people who have pressed charges against them. So thank you so much for your suggestion, Pamela. But in our country, it is actually a little bit hard to implement. So for that reason, we actually went for a straightforward approach to make sure that these kind of things do not happen in the first place. And a worker will go to a broker or in an illegal means only when the legal mean is not accessible, or the legal mean comes with a hefty cost or hefty price. That is only when the worker have to go to the broker and find some another illegal way to go inside their GCC countries and everything. So we are making the whole process accessible for everyone in the palm of their hand. So this is actually our goal, to make employment accessible just at the palm of our hand. So I hope that answers your question, Fatima and Pamela. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So this concludes the Q&A session of the presentation. Thank you so much, judges, for your insightful questions and comments. And once again, thank you, Team Stormtroopers, for an excellent presentation. You will be hearing from me soon regarding details on the winning team announcement, which will be November 13th, Monday, at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And you will all be invited to join that session. Yeah, so thank you guys so much.
May I say something?
Yes.
Yeah, sure. So thank you very much, everyone, Daniela, Pamela, Fatima, and Andrea. And we appreciate the effort, and you have come up here to listen to our little idea and solution. And we have been developing it for a very long time, and we're very passionate about it. And we seek your good wishes for our future endeavors and everything. And especially, I would like to thank Daniela for her tremendous support, because one of our team members actually was not able to present here today because she was affected by dengue. Because in my country right now a dengue outbreak is going on, and the day before yesterday she tested positive. So she could not be here today, but on her behalf, I would like to send her thank you to all of you judges and Daniela as well. So thank you very much. It is our pleasure to present our ideas in front of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.